Almost 23 points a game in Big 12 play for Barry Brown, and also a lockdown defender, Bob.
And there is his partner in crime as well, Dean Wade. Once you get past Trae Young, the next two highest scoring players in the Big 12 are Brown and Wade. They've got a heck of a home court advantage on their side tonight.
Keep your eye on Dean Wade, the forward. He's going to have to go a perimeter player tonight.
Azubuike turns it over on the opening possession for Kansas.
And Bob on the other end, Gerald Vick will guard the 6'10" Dean Wade inside.
Wide open to the rim. Maywade gets things started for Kansas State. Azubuike to Vick.
Well, that was a breakdown because they want to double Azubuike. When you double, you must get great weak side help at the rim.
Brown gets the screen, gives it up, 7 to shoot, straight away, Maywade. That's a brick.
There's a reason he's open.
He's now 2 for 8 this year from three-point land. Don't leave this guy open. Mikhailuk will drive it, stripped away, off his left.
Take a look at Bruce Weber, 6th season. He's got maybe his best team, and they're all back a year from now. They're experienced.
Brown for 2. The long rebound run down by Mikhailuk. Brown for 3. Knocks it down.
Let me tell you why that's big. He was 9 for 40 in his last 3 games, and fatigue could be a factor both ways. Both teams played heavy minutes on Saturday.
Another turnover as Wade tried to steal inside, and Xavier Sneed missed him. And how about the job Bill Self has done this season again with not the type of team he would normally like to draw?
I would call it an atypically great coaching job. Usually they play with big guys through the paint. This year, it's the perimeter and the three-point shooting.
Again, like last year. Vick from the corner. He's got it.
That's a guy Bill Self told us today has to get going. He's not played well lately.
Wade fades away. That's a little too strong, so a cold start for Kansas State. A layup from Maywade, the only basket that they have made so far. Azubuike spins, shot fake, and he gets Maywade to commit. And now Azubuike will go to the free throw line, and this is an adventure in and of itself.
Now remember, he's shooting 76% from the field, but below 40 from the line. I want you to watch, Bob. They've spent a lot of time with this free throw. Watch where his elbow is. It's got to be underneath the basketball, not out to the side. Look at that. See how his elbow goes out as he's about to shoot it?
How hard is that to correct?
Thousands of repetitions in the offseason. Watch the elbow. It's going to go out. See that?
And 2 misses. although he's going to get a third try because Michael Stevens whistled Dean Wade for a lane violation.
Remember in the Oklahoma game, the Sooners got back in it and eventually won because they fouled Big Doke on purpose late in that game.
Azubuike is now 5 for his last 21 from the free throw line, well below 40%.
They haven't posted Wade yet on the guards.
Wade off the bounce. Brown drives it. Azubuike. No call. Mike Roberts said Azubuike stayed in his cylinder. And Mikhailuk is able to make Kansas State pay at the other end. Bruce Weber calls time. What a start for KU. It really brings a lot of the history of downtown Manhattan back to you. It used to be a drugstore pharmacy back in the 20s. The woodwork, the countertops, the bar stools, everything is original, and it is a wonderful trip for your waistline as we take a look at Udoka Azubuike, who was ruled not to have fouled Barry Brown on the drive.
Great defense. He's inside the restricted arc. He goes straight up, stays vertical, and a good no call.
So that's the quote-unquote cylinder rule.
No, that cylinder is when you pivot. This is when you're inside that restricted arc. As long as you jump straight up, then you're illegal. If you don't jump to block the shot, it's blocking automatically.
Wade comes up short. Needless to say, Bruce Weber disagreed as he was all over the officials as he called that last timeout.
Kansas 3 for 3 behind the arc. Remember, this is a great shooting team.
Malik Newman is fouled by Cartier-Jada.
Well, Bruce Weber calls that early timeout after getting behind 11-2. He is apoplectic in that huddle. He said to his team, "We're all just people. Kansas is nothing special. Why aren't you playing?" He wants to know why his guys aren't cutting full speed, running full speed, rebounding harder. He kept saying, "We're all just people. Quit being intimidated and just play."
Listen, Holly, there has been a mental block for K-State through the years because of the way Kansas has dominated this series, and sometimes you can want a rivalry game too much.
Snead. Not even close, and it's out of bounds off Wade. So K-State made their first field goal attempt, and they've missed every shot since.
I'm surprised they haven't thrown the ball into Dean Wade in the post. He had 22 in the first game, and he's got the mismatch because of the size of Kansas.
Vic fumbles the Azubuike pass out of bounds.
Azubuike is playing center field. He doesn't even have to guard Maween.
5 to shoot. Brown, easy to the goal. And lost his shoe. Barry Brown's playing with one shoe, trying to get back on defense, holding his left sneaker. Pretty good recovery. He's got it back on. Shot clock at 5. Mikhailuk. He's got another.
This guy might be, in that left corner, the most deadly player in all of college basketball. He never, ever, almost never misses a corner jump shot.
Looks like Azubuike is called on a hold on Maween underneath.
This is pretty good here, Bob. Watch Barry Brown. He's going to drive, lose the shoe. comes off and he's going to recover. He could be in one of those halftime events at those NBA games.
Get him a goodie bag. He got back on defense, and here's Wade. Lost it. Contested at the rim and lost control. Devontae Graham. Mayween knocked out of bounds off his right hand as Mitch Lightfoot contested the rebound. Take a look at Bruce Weber in our Infinity Coach's Corner, a 17-year assistant under Gene Cady, who's here tonight.
Gene Cady is here tonight, and he's going to watch this dunk.
Snead, defended by McConnell. And then the ball caroms off Xavier Snead. Out of bounds, it goes back to Kansas.
How about this play by Steve? Steve with the breakaway, trying to get some momentum. And watch McKyler. Got mostly ball. These three officials all have worked the Final Four.
Vick intercepted by Wade.
If you are Kansas State, you must go inside right now.
Jumper instead rims out for Wade. This time a foul. Looks like will be called against Kansas. And it looks like it'll be Mitch Lightfoot, and we've lost another sneaker. This time it's Gerald Vick that's going to go back to get a flat tire.
Yeah, the great thing about this play, hand is part of the ball, but he never gave up on what looked like a sure dunk. When you hit the ball and the hand at the same time, that is a legal play. See how Kansas switches, and now you got Wade inside. Play through him.
Jada. Rebounded by Malik Newman. Traveling is called on Marcus Garrett. So Bruce Weber, 17 years under Gene Cady, and of course led Illinois to the national championship game back in 2005, a job he took over for Bill Self. You can take an infinity timeout your day to vote for your favorite coach and charity.
It was really hard for Bill Self to leave guys like D. Brown, Luther Head, Darren Williams. He went to Kansas, Bruce Weber took over, and that's part of the rivalry here between these two programs. I wouldn't say it's animosity. Let's just say it's a healthy dose of competitiveness.
Barry Brown scoops, gets the roll, plus the foul.
Bob, when you're not scoring and you're at home, you've got to take the ball to the basket. Can't live and die with jump shots. And so Brown takes it upon himself to get inside and has a chance at three.
We're seeing some determination from Barry Brown Jr. tonight. He missed a potential game-winning shot in that one-point loss at Allen Fieldhouse against Kansas. He took great responsibility, and he said, I have to be better. He told me yesterday that when he looks at the tape of this game, he doesn't want to see a single possession where somebody says, I was too tired, I didn't quite get there, I didn't do enough. He wants the tape to stand up that they gave everything against the Jayhawks on every possession. You can see him playing with that determination.
Well, they've now forced Kansas into turnovers on their last 4 possessions, led by Barry Brown, who, as we said, only trails Trae Young in scoring in Big 12 games.
Well, he's one of the best defensive players in the league as well.
Wade at one.
This is what he did in Lawrence. He took the ball to the paint, and that's where he's got to kind of live. Before he knocks down some threes, if I'm Dean Wade, I establish my size versus those Kansas guards inside.
Barry Brown's number 2 in the Big 12 in scoring in league games. Dean Wade's number 3. He's working on a string of 5 consecutive 20-point games. He only had 6 career 20-point games before these last 5. Malik Newman to the corner to Graham, wide open 3. Yes.
Kansas makes 11 threes a game. They've already got 5.
Wade, nice catch inside. Looks like he was held on the way up. 8-point lead for Kansas. Cartier-Jada, he has the moves. Seemingly so. Until you meet his dance partner. Then you really see the moves. Little dancer.
I watched him in pregame warm-ups, and you guys, you'll be very jealous how flexible he is. Keeps him on balance when he's going to the hoop, and really has him in touch with his body as he makes moves on the court. He's going to teach me more later. I promise I'll get better. He was better than me. I'm just going to admit it.
No, I disagree. If we rolled the tape a little further, we would see the moves you were teaching him as well, right? Foul called on Kansas. That'll be on the Gerald Vick. That's his second. And we saw some ballet too as well. I guess that's the plie. That doesn't look like ballet. That does. But he decided after he moved, by virtue of his mom saying he was hanging out with the wrong crowd in New York City, to Florence, South Carolina at the age of 16 to live with an aunt, to take up basketball really is his full-time activity. I think it's worked out.
Worked out really well. Wasn't highly recruited. Was discovered by assistant coach Chester Frazier, and his mentor was Sharon Wright, the former Clemson star. It's kind of like a second dad to him. I know they're proud of him down in Florence, and Sharon Wright, certainly a high draft pick, NBA player. It's great to see it work out.
Azubuike at the rim, plus the foul.
He is the best in the country at field goal percentage, and this is why. Bob, he doesn't miss too many of these. 76%.
If he holds on to that shooting percentage, it would not only be a Kansas record, it would be a Big 12 record. Levi Stockard called for the foul, and Azubuike now with a chance for a three-point play. Cunliffe goes over the back of Dean Wade on the free throw miss.
They have the Arizona State transfer.
Check that. Wade is called for the foul.
Wow.
Bruce Weber can't believe it.
Wade was holding him. That was a good call. Wade had his arm wrapped around Cunliffe. Cunliffe getting a chance because Garrett's got 3.
The lob and the finish by Azubuike. Great look from Devontae Graham.
He said, take your free throws and shove it, because I'll finish these. Something like that.
Something like that. Mayween over Azubuike. Xavier Sneed able to save it and throw it back out to Brown. A fresh 30 for the Wildcats. Brown weaves his way through traffic with the left hand.
He split that trap, put that ball so low, neither defender could get it.
Another 3. Malik Newman knocks it down, and Kansas continues to do what they do from behind the arc. 6 of 7 to start the game from 3.
How about the way Malik Newman's played lately? Transfer from Mississippi State. They have 5 players in double figures, all starters.
Wade finally hits the first triple for Kansas State. Graham is fouled.
Well, they work on this all the time at Kansas practice. And the great thing about Devontae Graham, he's got the security blanket of knowing if I throw it anywhere near the rim, Big Dope is going to catch it and finish it. We had him at Under Armour camp this summer at Philly University, right outside the city line. And we had to tell Dope, stop hanging on the rim. We only have one rim here.
Another alley-oop attempt that Cunliffe couldn't finish. Jada gives it up to Snead. He's fouled by Newman.
Bob, you know what you love about Kansas? They take everybody's best shot. They came in here tonight knowing that this place would be a madhouse. And to this point, they've handled it the way they usually do on the road.
Well, this is always the game of the year in this building, the crowd of the year in this building. And yet in Bramlage, Kansas is 25-4 all time.
I think the home team gets tight in here. There's so much, whatever you want to call it, animosity, venom, that sometimes you can play yourself into a frenzy and not play with the same poise that you need to beat a good team like Kansas.
Are you sensing that in Kansas State right now?
It's usually how it is in here. That's why there aren't that many court stormings.
Mikhailuk, goaltending. Levi Stocker tried to defend Mikhailuk as best he could, but that extends the lead back to double digits. And Super Tuesday, presented by Boost Mobile, starts with a big one in the ACC. Number 19, North Carolina. Number 20, Clemson. Then to the SEC as Vandy takes on number 21, Kentucky at Rupp. The Wildcats have won 3 in a row and 6 of 7 against Vandy. Both games on ESPN and the ESPN app. And you wonder if that win for Kentucky on the road against West Virginia in the Big 12 SEC on Saturday as Mikhailuk rims one out. Maybe does that get John Calipari's team back on track? Held ball, and it belongs to Kansas State.
Well, for Kentucky Saturday night, it was a one-man show just about. Kevin Knox was absolutely outstanding. Take a look here. Both guys get a hand on the ball.
I guess the crowd, especially from the far side of the court, thought Azubuike went over the back. He did not. That was a good call by the officials.
Yeah,
Ball.
I think so. You think they're going to agree with any call that goes against the Wildcats tonight?
I was going to say, any call, yes, they'll agree with half the calls that are made in the game. Brown blocked by Lightfoot. Cunliffe crosses over and finishes.
Remember, he averaged about 10 points a game at Arizona State during his freshman year, and he left halfway through.
Jada, too strong. With the left hand swooping to the goal, Svi Mikhailuk. Another timeout called by Weber. A 15-point lead for Kansas here at Kansas State.
Jayhawks, Bob, you said it, the most prolific shooting team in Bill Self's tenure at Kansas. 6 for 7 to start this game. And all 4 of the guard starters have knocked down a 3. Graham in the corner. Great ball movement as well on all of their field goals. How about that? And you can't get any better than that.
12 of 14 from the field, 12 assists on 12 made field goals, 6 of 7 from 3. That's better than Villanova against Georgetown. Foul on the drive. And it looks like that one will go against Mitch Lightfoot. So Cartier-Jada, who in the last 7 games is averaging about 13 a game, shooting nearly 60% from the field and 50% from 3. With Kamau Stokes out, broken left foot against Texas Tech, and it looks like he is just about ready to come back, but they've been so efficient without him. How hard is it to work him back in when he's ready to go?
Well, this is not a Dak Prescott, Tony Romo deal, right? They need Kamau Stokes back. But when we thought that Kansas State might slip, this kid has taken his game to a whole new level, and it's going to make Kansas State a deeper team when Stokes come back. He was averaging 13 points a game.
Well, before the game, Kamau Stokes came out and was warming up pretty fast on the floor. I talked to him and he said he just got cleared to return to play today, this morning. I said, are you kidding me? Are you really going to play in this game? He said, if the coaches put me in, I could play. He wants to, but I do think the coaches will be cautious. It would only be in a certain situation. They want to be very careful with that broken foot. They're expecting him more in a couple of weeks to help him down the stretch.
That's right, Holly. The coaches told me extenuating circumstances, and I don't think they should play him. This is an NCAA team, in my mind, and I think you got to get him back healthy, completely.
Wade, nice move in the post.
He's become such a good perimeter shooter for a big, but his bread is buttered in the purple area.
Foul called on Azubuike. Clearing inside. That's his second.
What he does is, when he seals in the paint, he takes the defender and tries to walk him up the lane. And that time the official thought there was too much contact.
So Silvio De Sousa comes in for the first time as Azubuike sits down with 2. Of course, Bill Self has a double-digit lead, so a little bit of a cushion with 6.5 minutes to go in the first.
I'd go inside to Wade with Silvio De Sousa. This is a kid that's still getting his feet wet, Bob. Joined the team in early January. Really hasn't helped yet.
Wade instead for 3. Got it. Bill Self wants a timeout. Back to Manhattan in 30 seconds. To go in the first half. Bob Shoes and Fran Fraschilla, Holly Rowe, big Monday in Manhattan, and can't be easy for Silvio De Sousa to jump off the bench just having become eligible and all of a sudden ingratiate himself into this Kansas system.
It's very, very hard. This kid is a bright young man, very good player. Look at his body by Jake. But you know what it's like for him? Picture a treadmill going at 6.5 miles an hour, which is like sprinting. The treadmill is going, and you're asking him to jump on the treadmill. And, Bob, even you can't do that. That's not easy.
Barry Brown, hand check Newman.
He's got to figure out, De Sousa, the offenses, his teammates, what Bill Self wants. And now, Bob, with Azubuike in foul trouble, Kansas State has a chance to take advantage of his inexperience.
They go to him in the post. He rolls to the goal and misses the pass from Devontae Graham. You wonder if that's a pass that Azubuike might catch.
Well, that's timing.
Yep.
That's all timing.
And now Mitch Lightfoot is at the scorer's table, presumably to replace De Sousa.
Bill Self said it would take about a month for him to get going, and he hasn't yet.
Wade fades away. Fouled by De Sousa. Chance for a three-point play.
That's the dilemma of trying to get this young man experience, because Dean Wade knows he's got a rookie, and he takes him right into where? The purple, the painted area.
That was number 32, Dean Wade.
Wade with the rebound off the Newman miss.
We got a ball game, Bob.
Snead for three. Mikhailuk, an uncontested rebound. Goes to the goal, and he draws the foul. Fouled by Snead. That's his first. Our women's Thursday night showcase is a top 10 matchup. Undefeated #1 UConn taking on #7 South Carolina in Columbia. 7 Eastern on ESPN and the ESPN app. Gamecocks have never beaten the Huskies in 5 chances. UConn won their last meeting a year ago by only 11 at Campbell Pavilion. You say only 11, and Holly, you know better than anyone covering the women's game. If you can stay within 11 against UConn, that's like beating any other team in America.
Yeah, and I'll actually be at that game. I can't wait to get there. The Gamecocks lead the nation in attendance. It's going to be a furious, crazy crowd. We'll see how UConn does on the road in that environment. South Carolina coming off a big win against Missouri, a little altercation in that game, so things are going to be very lively in Columbia on Thursday. Can't wait to get there.
That'll be a great atmosphere Thursday night.
Something you don't see much here. Kansas in a zone.
Brown can't bust it. An offensive rebound, and instead of coming down with it, trying to flip it right back up, was Ahmad Wainwright. He'll try again. And a blocking foul is called on Lightfoot. That's his second.
See, looks like he got in there late. Could have even had his foot on the restricted arc line. Easy call. This young man, Ahmad Wainwright, if he looks like somebody, that's Ish Wainwright's little brother, former Baylor star, and the grandson of Maurice King, the first African-American player to start at the University of Kansas back in 1954. So although he's wearing that purple uniform, there's a long Jayhawk history in that family.
Mikhailuk double clutches. Here comes Jada. Brown's the trailer. Offensive foul. That time, standing, taking the charge, firmly planted, was Mitch Lightfoot. That's the second on Brown.
How about Mitch Lightfoot? Didn't play much last year. This year, out of necessity, he's become their hard hat guy. He was a highly recruited player. It's not like he just showed up for walk-on tryouts, but he was lightly used a year ago.
He was the Arizona Gatorade Player of the Year a couple of years ago. The lob. Vic is able to finish.
You know what you love about Kansas? For every one-and-done guy like Embiid or Wiggins, it's these four-year guys like Lightfoot that just love wearing that uniform.
Under 4 minutes to go in the first half. Kansas's largest lead was 15. Kansas State got as close as 5.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Phillips 66, proud sponsor of Big 12 basketball.
Guys,
Hey, what time's your flight?
I've got an hour until I'm supposed to board.
All right, we have things.
Hey, it's okay. You're still in the ballgame considering Kansas shooting over 75% from the field and the three-point line.
Kansas State finishing out this half is important. Play through Dean Wade. That guy makes good stuff happen.
It's your favorite uncle there, buddy.
All right, Robbie, thanks very much. Well, let's see if they do continue, Fred, to try and play as best they can through Dean Wade. You've been saying all night that probably, at least offensively, gives Kansas State their best chance.
Yes, it does. And Kansas coming out of a timeout. You see what they've done from the field. Turnovers have been uncharacteristic. Kansas State has taken advantage. But let's watch this, Bob. Very few coaches in the country better out of a timeout than Bill Self. Only Michigan State in the power conferences scores more points out of these timeouts than Self does. K-State ready, weren't they?
Beck on the drive. Foul. It's another foul on Ahmad Wainwright.
This first, team number 9.
9 team fouls now for Kansas State. What is it that makes Kansas so good, though, out of timeouts?
Well, first of all, they run their offense really well anyway. When you give Bill Self 2 minutes in a huddle, one thing I always say about good coaches and timeouts, they're clear, they're concise, and they're confident. They've got a good series of lob plays, which we've seen time and time again. Take advantage of backdoor cuts. But he told us today it's basically the same offense. He just gets to emphasize the little things in that timeout because he's got 2 minutes with his team.
Jada gives it up. Ryan Patrick. That's long. Malik Newman corrals it for KU. Kyler glides to the goal.
He's added that to his game, Bob. He's a much better driver this year than he's ever been. And when you add how good a shooter he is close to being an all Big 12 player, I'm telling you.
Wade can't answer. Back tap. Jada for 3. That won't go. And LeGerald Vick takes it from the tap from Mitch Lightfoot. Mikhailuk now in double figures for the 20th time in KU's 22 games.
He's become one of the best players in this league.
Wild pass out of bounds from Devontae Graham. 13 so far for Mikhailuk.
The young man from Cherkasy, Ukraine. Remember, he came here as a 17-year-old. He won't turn 21 until June, but he came with a great reputation as a scorer. And under Bill Self has become a complete player. I remember 4 years ago in the World Championships against Team USA, guys like Harden, Kyrie Irving. He was a 17-year-old playing against NBA players. You know who coached him? Mike Fratello, former NBA coach on the sideline.
The Czar. Vick tries to turn the corner, and Jada is called for the foul, and Jada gets up with a limp. It'll be the automatic 2 for LeGerald Vick. That is the second on Jada, and the 10th team foul against Kansas State. Mike McGurl at the scorer's table as Jada will sit down with 2 fouls.
That young man is from Hartford, Connecticut, Mike McGurl. They were going to redshirt him until Kamal Stokes got hurt. East Catholic and Hartford.
Checking in for Kansas State, 0, Mike McGurl.
Cunliffe back in, replacing Vick for Bill Self.
See this about 5% of the season. Kansas in a 2-3 zone. Of course, they work on it every day in practice in terms of their offense.
Shot clock down to 8. Brown gives it up. McGurl tries a 3. That rims out. Kansas led by 15. K-State cut it all the way down to 5. But now, as we're in the latter moments of the first half, chance for Kansas to push the lead back up. Cunliffe. That's an air ball. Brown gives it up to Wade. The baby jumper is short. Pulled the string.
He babied it. See if Kansas goes 2 for 1 here.
Graham's tied up. And they will get that 2-for-1 scenario as Devontae Graham will go to the line.
Let's explain that. If you get the shot up by about 45, there's a really good chance that the other team will use their 30 seconds and you'll get a second possession. Very few college coaches do that, but Bill Self does that all the time at the end of a first half.
Brian Patrick is called for the trip on Devontae Graham. Is that just evidence of a team that's got a basketball IQ that's a little different at a different level than maybe most teams in college, that you can trust your team to understand getting a 2-for-1 but also getting a good shot on the front end of the 2-for-1?
Yes, absolutely, because look what they did. They put the ball in Graham's hands, and he was either going to get a good shot or get fouled, right? There's a really good chance they'll get a second possession because of that IQ.
Comes up short from the corner for Patrick, and here is basically the perfect 2-for-1 scenario for Kansas. There's only about a 1.5-second differential.
I'll let you know if they score, but the strategy right on the money for Kansas. Watch D'Souza. Let's see if he screens or do they just let Graham go one-on-one.
Graham for 3. In and out. McGurl lets it go from midcourt. Just off the mark. And Kansas State ends the first half missing their last 12 field goal attempts to fall behind by 13 as we go to Holly.
Well, Coach Self, how would you assess how your team was able to withstand the foul trouble to Udoka?
Well, we pretty fortunate. You know, that's about the most foul problems we've had all year, and we need those guys to play smarter, obviously, but our bench came in and did a good job.
What made you go to the 2-3 zone? We don't see that from you all that often.
Dean Wade. We didn't have anybody guarding.
Thanks, Coach.
Pretty simple. And the strategy works for Bill Self as his team has a 13-point lead on the road here in Manhattan. At the break, standing by with Seth and Jay Will. Back to the studio. Carl Ravitch and the halftime report. Ravitch.
Hi, Bobby. Thank you very much.
Coach, you called a timeout when your team didn't get off to the start you wanted. What did they improve from that moment on that kept them in this?
Well, we got back into it, cut it to 7, but then the last 11 possessions we didn't score. Thought we took too many tough shots, too many outside shots against the zone. Got to get it inside. We got to man up and toughness on the defensive end. They're just driving us.
Thank you, Coach.
As we're set for the second half of Big Monday, presented by Joseph A. Bank. And Bruce Weber sounds like a coach that watched his team give up 70% shooting from the field en route to a 13-point deficit at halftime between Kansas and Kansas State. That was Holly Rowe. I'm Bob Wischusen here with Fran Fraschilla. And Fran, that was about as perfect a road half as you can play if you're Kansas in the first 20 minutes.
Yeah, I think particularly the shooting. They turned it over a lot, but I thought their ball movement was great. But how about tonight's game flow driven by Continental Tire? And Bob, they had good flow when they weren't turning it over because the passing exquisite, the shooting even more so, knocking down threes like they normally do, going inside as well. And that's why they have this huge lead.
Kansas State only shot 28%, or 26%, pardon me, from the field in the first half. So you add all those numbers up. It's amazing they're only down by 13. Keys offensively to the second half for Kansas State. I know Bruce Weber talked about D, but how about at this end?
I think you got to go inside. I really do. When the Jays aren't dropping, you got to get yourself inside and to the foul line. They got the advantage.
Wade keeps the possession alive.
You know, the guards are guarding Wade, and I think he can post.
Brown drives it. Can't score it. Gets his own miss. Blocked by Azubuike. Here comes Mikhaili.
Kansas State has 16 more field goals tonight than the Jayhawks, but they cannot find the basket.
Malik Newman. Short.
Problem K-State has is Maween doesn't have to be guarded by Azubuike, so Azubuike can just hang out and loiter in the paint.
The lob that Mikhailuk can't handle. Brown will attack. Gives it up. Nice fake by Snead. Allowed the flyby and finish.
First fast break points of the night for K-State. And the other thing you got to do when you're not making shots in the half court, get out and run.
Mikhailuk called for the foul. Hand-to-hand combat with Xavier Snead. Actually called that foul on Azubuike. And that's his third. That's an even bigger call than it would have been. And they got Mikhailuk. So already Mitch Lightfoot up at the scorer's table. And he will replace Azubuike. What are the biggest areas where Kansas is weakened when Azubuike's out of the game?
First thing is scoring in the paint. And the second thing is, as I mentioned, with Maween in there on offense for K-State, Azubuike doesn't have to guard him. And neither does Lightfoot for that matter. Lightfoot can be a helper like he is right there in the pick and roll.
Wainwright traveled.
I wouldn't be surprised if Bruce Weber goes with Wade at the 5 and 4 guards and try to match Kansas's athleticism on the perimeter, because the big lineup is not getting it done.
Mikhailuk for 3. And Wade takes away the rebound from Lightfoot. Mayween blocked by Lightfoot as he was juggling it on his way up. Still 20 to shoot for K-State. Mayween blocked by Lightfoot again.
He's going to have a hard time scoring, Bob. That's not his strength.
Through a triple team, and he draws the foul. That'll be LeGerald Vick picking up his third.
Well, Lightfoot has done a good job all season at protecting the rim. You love Mayween's effort. He's a young man that signed with Utah, played his high school basketball in Salt Lake City. Then he went to junior college, and he still has 3 seasons left. So he's a work in progress. Good energy, good size.
Well, Maween has only been in double figures 5 times this season, but 2 of the last 3 for Kansas State.
His dad is the foreign minister of the South Sudan. Very heady position. Bright young man.
Malik Newman, shot and knocks it away. Still loose. Newman's got it. 4 on the shot clock. He was out of bounds, though. His feet hit the sideline in the midst of that scramble for the loose ball.
Good piece of refereeing as well. New rule this year, when the ball is deflected into the backcourt, take a look right here. Even if Jara was the last to touch, the ball is live. It's not going to be an over and back. But great hustle by Malik Newman, the transfer from Mississippi State, who is starting to transform himself into a Bill Self kind of guy after having a reputation of being a scorer in high school.
Wade for 3. Yes. The lead back down to 7. And Bill Self wants a timeout.
he is, your new brother-in-law. You like him. He's one of those guys who always smells.
Brought to you by Bosch Wiper Blades, the 288th all-time meeting between these two schools, and a series largely dominated by Kansas.
In recent years, but through the years, Kansas State has had some glory runs, the late 50s, early 60s. Both of these programs with rich tradition, but hard to match what Kansas has done on a national level. One of the great programs in college hoops.
Makai Luke, mid-range, in and out, offensive rebound, Lightfoot.
How about Mitch Lightfoot? Just love his energy.
Newman, Lightfoot, another offensive rebound and a reset to Devontae Graham.
That young man didn't have to take a shower last year after many games.
Makai Luke, in and out, and now Wade's got the rebound. Brown like lightning to the goal with English. It won't go. Here comes Malik Newman. Graham on his right. Graham spots up. That's off the mark.
Bruce Weber's going to slow it down and run a set.
Wade out of the double team. Finds Snead. Back door. Kansas has yet to score this half. Their last field goal with 3:02 to go in the first half. And the lead has been cut down to 5.
Big time play by Wade out of the double.
Makai Luke doesn't get the roll.
Last time down, they double-teamed Wade, but he saw the weak side cutter. I would go right back inside.
Gotta drives it and is fouled by Graham. Third team foul this half on Kansas. It was 15. The lead down to 5 here in Manhattan.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Phillips 66, proud sponsor of Big 12 basketball.
Of guards to watch. Arguably the best defensive point guard in college basketball against what right now everyone knows probably the best offensive player in college basketball.
And I was at that game, and they kind of took Trey's lunch money from him. And I have a feeling he's going to be ready for the rematch because Javon Carter's defense was outstanding in Morgantown. Fun rematch. Azubuike back. Let's see if they go inside.
Graham down the lane. Blocking foul. Levi Stockard called for the block, so Devontae Graham will go to the free throw line. And these rivalry games have a tendency to wear you out.
Well, remember, Bob, Saturday against Georgia, that game was so important to Kansas State. All 5 starters, including Snead, played the entire second half. Kansas, similar. This young man at the foul line, Devontae Graham, has only missed 28 seconds in the last 5 games.
They were trying to get as much fluid into Xavier Snead as possible during our timeout. As you can see, that is continuing, Holly, as the cramps for Snead seem to be a problem.
Well, Fran was all over it Saturday. It was unseasonably warm here in Manhattan, and the interior of this building was too hot. Bruce Weber made comments about it at the game. These guys lost a lot of fluids, and although they've hydrated well and planned for this moment, the cramping has caught up with Xavier Snead. He's been pouring down packets of electrolytes and water, but he is in a lot of pain. That right leg and calf and quad really cramping.
We'll see if he can get back in the game as he's trying to walk it off behind the bench. As things stand now.
Yep, Bob, Kansas going to the zone to protect Azubuike.
And Brown throws it away. Just airmails Jada.
That ball had a lot of helium in it. But Bill Self going to the zone, so Azubuike doesn't have to guard anybody in particular. He wants to just keep him on the court.
too strong off the window. Here comes Barry Brown. A girl for three.
That's a pretty good look for a young guy that hasn't played a lot of basketball.
Newman in and out. Foul called, though, it looks like. That will go against Levi Stockard, holding Azubuike. That's his third. Our next NBA Wednesday doubleheader. The Eastern Conference leading Celtics host the Knicks. That comes your way 8 Eastern on Wednesday night. And the Mavs will take on Devin Booker and the Suns. Coverage tips with NBA Countdown at 7 on ESPN and the ESPN app.
You're a Knicks fan, right? I don't want to win any more games, Bob. I want Marvin Bagley. I want Trae Young. Maybe DeAndre Ayton. Maybe Luka Doncic. No more wins.
Mikhailuk knocks it down from the corner. Another three. As he's got 3 triples to go along with 16 points.
Well, you've been in this league a couple years. He might be the most improved player in this league. Went to the NBA Combine last year and decided to return, and his stock is rising as a shooter.
Shot clock down to 5. Wade has to force one. The back tap kept alive by Jada. And it looks like it is going to go to Kansas with Xavier Sneed checking back in for K-State. And now the officials can't agree on who it went out off of. So Michael Stevens jumps in and says, you know what, let's go to the arrow. And that actually gives it to Kansas State.
This crew is not just officiating crew, not going to be rattled. All 3 have worked Final Fours. More zone by Kansas. K-State has not shot the ball well tonight behind the arc.
That baby jumper from the elbow is there from Levi Stockard.
Big freshman getting a chance to guard Azubuike with his size.
Graham, nice crossover. And the finish by Devontae Graham. Sneed needs help. Tough pass to Wade, and the shot clock already halfway burned down. Here's Wade for 3. Offensive rebound, Stockard, but he dribbled it onto the baseline. Kansas once again has pushed the lead back up to double figures as we are under 12 minutes to go. Watch. How could you not give it, I guess, right now to Trae Young? But would Jalen Brunson win this award in any other year if Young wasn't putting up the kind of numbers he is?
He's the most underrated great player in the country. And if Jay Wright turns him loose, he'd do what he did yesterday on the road at Marquette and drop 32. I don't want you to think Jay Wright doesn't turn him loose. They just don't need him to get 30 every night. They got so much balance.
Yeah, they probably are the most balanced team in America. Not really going out on a limb considering where they have been most of the year in the AP top 25. As Malik Newman catches it with 7 to shoot. LeGerald Vick in and out for 3.
Kansas State 3 of 19 behind the arc, so the zone, a pretty good strategy for Bill Self. You see the zone at Kansas as much as you see Sasquatch.
Barry Brown finishes. He now has 9.
We always said it, Bob. In order to attack a zone, you attack it from the rim out. When you rely on 19 threes and only make 3 of them, it's not a good recipe.
Mikhailuk Alley-oop backdoor. Gives it up to Azubuike. And Xavier Sneed got a hand in and avoided the dunk.
Well, guys, Barry Brown just scored his first field goal of the second half, and for good reason. Bruce Weber really challenged he and Jada in the huddle because they have not stepped up big time. Jada just has 2 points here in this ballgame. Barry Brown, the leading scorer of this team and the second leading scorer in the Big 12, had just 7 points until that last field goal. Those guys have got to be more impactful, and as Bruce Weber said to Jada, you've got to get us into stuff more. We need your leadership and your aggression to make things work on offense.
Barry Brown was 3 for 11 from the field before he was able to finish that last drive. And Fran, averaging close to 23 a game in Big 12 play. He just hasn't been there for them offensively tonight.
Well, he drove the ball early without much success. And quite frankly, Kansas State has spent way too much time on the perimeter versus the zone.
We also buried the lead as Azubuike hit 2 free throws. Brown for 3. Long rebound. Moeen, floater, missed everything.
Cannot take this guy off the court. Indispensable. 20 possessions in Big 12 play this year that he hasn't played. Kansas has only scored 6 times.
Mikhailuk, in and out. The back tap by Azubuike. Graham down the lane. That's blocked by Moon. Numbers for K-State. Great recovery, though, by Kansas. Jada gives it up to Wade. Yes. Graham lost it. Here comes Sneed. He's got Jada. Crosses over and misses. Brown throws it off Malik Newman, so it stays with Kansas State. Jada was calling for the lob, and Xavier Sneed kept it himself.
Yeah, but Malik Newman did a great job of stopping that layup, and then good hustle right there. He's got to get out of the way. Malik Newman just got in the way of that 2-on-1. And this is a guy that was not known for his defense in high school.
It looks like the officials are looking up at the clock. And John Higgins is walking over now to the scorer's table.
It's a possession situation.
It gave Kansas State a free timeout. And now they took 4 seconds off the shot clock. The ball stays with Kansas State. Back to the zone for Kansas. A steal by Devontae Graham.
He smelled that out. He jumped right in the passing lane. Sloppy play by the freshman.
Newman down the lane. Is able to finish, plus the foul. Chance for a 3-point play for Malik Newman when we come back. He has been more and more fun to watch for Saturday night. And Holly, boy, it was humble beginnings for Trey Young from the Norman Y back in 2003 to the best player in America now in 2018.
Well, it was humble beginnings because their team didn't have a name. They were called Team 4. 2 + 2 = 4. I got to spend the day with Candace Young and Rayford and their family, and we had a great time. I can't wait to peel off some of the layers and teach you more about Trae Young and his very special family. We have them on Big Monday in a week, so we'll tell you a little bit more about Trae Young.
I know this, Ollie, those Longhorn fans, they like their freshman, Mo Bamba. He's been absolutely scintillating the last couple games. Checked in with Shaka Smart today, very pleased with his young team. Starting to play good basketball down there in Austin.
Big shot from Xavier Sneed.
The door is open, Bob. Kansas only 3 for 17 in this half.
And yet they still lead by 8. Offensive foul. Newman set the screen on the move after he handed it off to LeGerald Vick. That is the second foul on Malik Newman. Each team now with 4 fouls here in the second half.
It's most zone I think Kansas has played all season, and it's working.
Rainbow jumper comes up short for Brown.
Last year was Frank Mason. This year, Bill Self's security blanket is Devontae Graham.
Graham gives it up. The reverse from Vick. That barely draws the rim on the far side from Sneed, and he is running with a limp as best he can, trying to fight through cramps. You can see grabbing the back of that left leg. He's going to have to come out of the game again. He can't move.
He's stretching while the game's going on.
Graham off the window. Wade turns, gets the roll. And Sneed's down. He tried to draw a whistle to see if after the made basket he could maybe get the referees to stop the game as he continues to cramp up, but he had to get back up and play defense. Makailu. Yes!
He hasn't been as sharp tonight from beyond the arc, but that one is as good as it gets. Great drive and kick by Graham. How good have the two seniors been this year for Bill Self?
Brown can't answer. Sneed crashes the offensive glass, playing through pain.
No, he was just stretching out in the air. This is where 4 ball handlers really helps.
Newman draws the foul on McGurl.
Watch the shot. He's going to come in from the weak side. He's fine. Only a sophomore.
That foul not on McGurl, by the way. It's on Maween. And that's his 4th. So Sneed will have to come out. And it looks like Maween will stay in with the 4 fouls with 4:51 to go. So now Brian Patrick will check in. And McCall Maween will sit down with the 4 fouls.
Wonder if we'll see Big Dope back with this lead and the propensity for teams to potentially foul him. Lightfoot's done a really good job tonight.
McGurl, yes. Nice cut to the basket by Mike McGurl. Makailu set up Newman. Newman will drive it and finish with the left hand.
Since the early part of the Big 12, Malik Newman has put the jump shot for the most part in his back pocket, and he has become a great driver. They don't have a lot of inside scoring, so his ability to get to the paint, get to the rim is important.
Brown. And an offensive foul is called on Barry Brown. Another charge drawn by Mitch Lightfoot, and he is shaken up.
Timeout on the floor.
Mitch Lightfoot is one of those players that does all the little things, the dirty work for Bill Self. Took the charge, and it looks like he took a headshot in the process. So now Udoka Azubuike heads over to the scorer's table. He will report back in for Lightfoot, but just want to make sure that Mitch Lightfoot's okay. That is good to see. We'll check in on Mitch Lightfoot after a quick timeout.
Guys, hey, what time's your flight?
I've got an hour and...
Brown landing with plenty of his weight on the head of Lightfoot. That took a smack to the deck, but he was able to walk off the court.
You know why he's smiling? Because he's playing. Last year he averaged 4 minutes a game, and this year he leads Kansas in charges taken. So, young man whose family grew up in the Kansas City area, always wanted to be a Jayhawk, went to high school in the Phoenix area, and one of those guys that loves wearing that uniform.
Grant hit the underside of the rim. Out of bounds off Wade with 8 to shoot.
Now Bruce Weber told us today that he would not have a problem fouling Azubuike in this situation. Problem is you got Wade out there and you can't afford to waste him on him.
Mikhailuk.
Oh boy.
Hits another three.
I mean, he might as well buy real estate in those corners because the guy is just unbelievable from those corners. He's likely to be first team all Big 12. I don't know how many. They put 8 or 9 guys on there. He's definitely on.
Snead, way short. And now Bill Self gives the stop sign to Malik Newman. Says it's time to milk some clock.
They've got a great team to do it with because of these 4 guards. 2 years ago, Bob, in preseason practice, when Bill Self knew he was going to have to play small, I remember him saying to a bunch of coaches, I'm not really sure how we're going to play yet, but we have to play 4 guards. He has figured it out, as he always does.
Mikhailuk looking for another three. In and out. Mikhailuk all over Wade, and a foul call. Only team foul number 5 on KU. Super Tuesday presented by Boost Mobile. It's a big one in the ACC tomorrow night at 7. Number 19 North Carolina at Littlejohn to take on number 20 Clemson. And in the SEC, number 21 Kentucky at Rupp against Vanderbilt. Both games on ESPN and the ESPN app. And that is really good to see Mitch Lightfoot back in the game as McGurl rattles home a 3.
Azubuike out, Lightfoot back in. Barely got it across the line.
Graham, shot fake, and he'll go to the line.
Think about it, Bob. Kansas goes on the road in this league and has a giant bullseye on their back. None bigger than in this place. And with a couple of exceptions, they have dominated in the octagon of doom.
Let's go over to Holly.
But promise I'm not stalking them, but this is how the assignments have fallen. I've seen Kansas 3 straight games now, and every game I see them improving defensively. Bill Self lamented early in the season that this is one of his worst defensive teams he'd coached, but every game they get a little bit better. They've held K-State to 53 points tonight so far, and their opponents were averaging 70 points a game coming into the game tonight. So little by little, they're improving defensively, causing deflections, getting steals, and playing much better defense than the last 3 games on what I've seen.
It's a great point, Holly. Kansas State is the 20th best offensive team in the country.
Wade, short. Tapped by Graham to Vic. And it looks like a streamer came out of the crowd and ended up on the floor, so Michael Stevens has to stop the game. Tonight's player of the game brought to you by Phillips 66 and Svi Mikhailuk. 22 points, 5 of 9 from three-point land, over 20 points for the 9th time this season. He had 24 points in each of the last 2 games for Kansas and adds 22 more tonight. Newman is fouled by McGurl.
You know, it's a little piece of trivia, but Whitefoot in the game now for Big Doak. And Whitefoot's an 83% foul shooter. Last year, Mitch Whitefoot 1 for 12 from the foul line. So we talk about improvement or small sample size. But how good has he been?
He's that junkyard dog type player that, as you said, is happy to wear that uniform and do all of the little role player things you need him to do.
How'd you like to be Mitch Whitefoot tomorrow walking around campus at KU? How cool would that be?
You know that feeling.
I'd do anything for that feeling for like 24 hours.
John hits a 3 and a timeout called by Bruce Weber. But still a 12-point lead for Kansas. And boy, you hate to say it if you are a K-State fan, but it has to almost feel like Groundhog's Day, right? You get the same crowd in this building year after year to see KU come in, and you get the court storming back in 2015, but you know, this is now going to be, at least under Bill Self here at Bramlage, just the dominance continues, and it's going to be 26-4 now for KU in this building.
I've been on both sides of this kind of situation with rivalries, and sometimes you can want it too much. And you get the feeling tonight, the way Kansas State started it, they wanted it too much. And as I said about a couple different times now, for Kansas, this is par for the course when they go on the road.
Sports Center Monday night at 11 Eastern. The Clippers trading Blake Griffin to Detroit. What's the plan in LA going forward? What's Detroit hope to get out of that deal? Super Bowl week kicks off. We'll bring you the sights and sounds from Minneapolis. Plus, I'll look at the process that led Bill Belichick to building a dynasty in New England. John Anderson, Kevin Connors, Sports Center coming up as soon as we're done here in Manhattan. Also on the ESPN app as well as right here on ESPN.
You know, there were a lot of teams in the Big 12 tonight thinking that the race would shrink a little bit, right? Hoping that K-State would win and bring Kansas back to the pack. A lot of unhappy coaches, but as Bill Self always says, it only takes a week for you to go from the top to the bottom or the bottom to the top in this league. And Kansas on the verge now, Bob, going 7-2 and keeping a little distance from the rest of the league. K-State's got to go to Morgantown on Saturday.
And Kansas is next to both at the Fog. They play Oklahoma State and TCU. Back-to-back games at home, then at Baylor and at Iowa State. That's the bottom of the league, but 2 tough places to play. Certainly it's never easy to go to Hilton. And then that 3-game stretch. Home West Virginia, home Oklahoma, at Texas Tech. Those 3 games might determine whether or not Kansas does what they always seem to do, and that is win this league.
I would take my chances if I were Bill Self.
Well, of those teams that are in second place right now, Oklahoma, Texas Tech. I mean, which one do you think
Texas Tech
has the best chance?
Texas Tech.
Because they won at Allen Fieldhouse.
Oklahoma doesn't play good enough defense.
Yep.
West Virginia doesn't play good enough offense right now. And Texas Tech is a complete team. Went to South Carolina on Saturday. Kansas will want payback, but they'll be ready and love it.
As always, though, the Big 12 title goes through Lawrence. And KU just keeps on rolling as they're going to win this one by 14. A fist pump from Bill Self. His team earned this one tonight. 70-56 is your final as Kansas wins the Sunflower Showdown. Terrific outing again from Devontae Graham. Once again, Kansas is led by Svi Mikhailuk. Once again, our final. Kansas wins it 70-56 here in Manhattan. For Fran Fraschilla and Holly Rowe, I'm Bob Wischusen. It's time for SportsCenter.